YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It's your host TKK. Listen, we are in my infamous kitchen where it all started last year when I started doing the unboxings, the reviews of the technology. The reason that we're shooting here today is because my YouTube studio room is under construction right now. I got some great stuff that's going to be coming to the channel later this week, so make sure that you are subscribed and that you hit the notification bell so that you can be alert on when all of that good stuff is coming. But today we are going to be doing one of my favorite types of videos. Let me offer you some context. This is a video that I'm making because a subscriber recently was talking about a previous video and he had questions. This is the case that I reviewed specifically 5.5 months ago. It's the SilverStone GD09B, right? This is a great case that looks like a home theater receiver. It also looks like a console style. It's very horizontal in design and it puts you in a position where you can get a lot of components in this. So the subscriber that was talking to me about this case was questioning if I was only able to get the mini motherboard inside of it. If you're not very alert onto what a mini motherboard is, it's a motherboard that only can house a graphics card. Below the graphics card, that slot, the board pretty much cuts off. Your full motherboard is going to have more slots for you to be able to put more graphics cards, capture cards, things like that. So when I did the video review of this case, which you can check right here, I'll throw a card up there, pause this, check it out if you want to. I did use a mini motherboard. Today, I've rebuilt that system using similar components. So after I roll my intro, we're gonna get right to it. All right, so as I said, welcome back to the channel. It's been a couple of days since I made an upload. My intentions is to post at least 300 videos this year. And I think I got a pretty good consistency going with you guys. I took a few days off because I had some different orders that were being made. Just kind of giving you filler time vlogging with you, if you will. I had to pick up myself another iFixit kit. The previous one that I had, I gave to my son, Isaiah, who was featured in the Alienware build. I carved that in. You could take a look at that if you haven't seen that content about the pre-built. And so when I sent him back to school from his recent trip, I sent him with the iFixit kit just in case he wanted to play around with his PC. So what I'm going to do is open this thing up so that you guys can take a look at the guts. Now, I rebuilt this system specifically because a subscriber had some questions. So I'm telling you guys, the way that I'm trying to run this channel, and even as we grow, and let's just say if we get to a level where it's impossible for me to keep up with, my camera person, who you're going to meet eventually, my sons, who you have met before, they're going to be running my page. So we'll get to a point where we'll always be able to have a conversation. But the point that I'm making is, the whole reason I'm making this is because someone had questions about it. When you guys use the comment section as a forum, it gets a dialogue going from us. So if there's any questions, things that I didn't cover, I can revisit them, make more content, and we can get more conversation going. So this case is amazing. I love it. It's really good because it can house a lot of stuff. Can you just come on over to the side? Show these people this. We're gonna open this up, giving you a look at it. You got the back where you have your power cord, your graphics cards there. You've got all your USB ports there. You choose the right motherboard that's gonna give you the connections you need, and you're gonna be great with this. This motherboard does have Wi-Fi. Now, in the previous build video of this, I'm gonna open this in a second, we used an Asus Z390 Strix motherboard, mini version. Mini meaning it went literally from, if you get back down here, a mini motherboard is literally this length right here. It's the length of the AIO shield, and you have a little bit more depth there for you to be able to plug in your graphics cards, but that's about it, right? Your full motherboard is gonna go about this length. So you're going from here to about here. The mini's here, and then the full is here, pretty much. That's the concept of it. It had an i9-9900K processor. We have the same motherboard, Asus Z390 Strix, with an i9-9900K. So the same motherboard processor. This is just the full version. Take a look at this thing, man. Jam-packed with full components, right? We got full motherboard there. You've got two SATA solid state drives. This is a 250. This is a 1 terabyte. Under here, we have a 14 terabyte mechanical drive. Right here where this cable is going, we have another 14 terabyte mechanical drive. We have a full RTX 3080 Ti Founders Edition graphics card posted there. We've got a full power supply, 600 watts. This is sufficient. We've got one fan intaking air here. Come on around. Take it on around. We've got two fans right here intaking air. Okay. This has the ability for, there's a filter right there. So you got two 120 millimeter fans intaking air here. You've got two 80 millimeter fans exhausting air, right? So you got intake here, exhaust here. You've got intake on this side. Full components. Go ahead and give them another circle around, keeping it on there, please. Yeah, don't worry about turning it. You don't need to do a cell phone turn orientation. Just keep it that way. It'll be widescreen. Yeah. 16 gigs of RAM under the drive cage. Go ahead and give them another 360 all the way around. What questions might you guys have about this? In a second, we're gonna phase forward and get it connected to where it's gonna be. But yeah, you get full components in this thing. Like this is exactly what you would want. If you have a scenario where you're trying to make the build look like it's a piece of furniture or like it's a receiver, because that's essentially what this looks like. You come back, get here, and then I'll get to the back of it. It looks like a receiver. You do have the opportunity if you wanted to put in like this is called a 5 1/4 inch bay. So you can put a full disk drive there. Now, because I went with putting drives on the top, you're not able to get a disk drive there. You can't get anything in place there, but I felt that I would have components there. So let me talk to you about the storage that I have here. 250 gig Samsung SATA solid state, has Windows, and it has the bulk of my programs. All I have on here is Plex, Steam, and that's pretty much it, right? I don't have any RGB software or anything like that. No Razer Snaps, no IQ from Corsair, none of that. The 1 terabyte Samsung solid state drive is for my Steam. This is for my PC games that I'll be playing, right? If I don't feel like I need more than a terabyte. If I'm gonna play a game, I'll play it. If I'm not gonna play a game, I'll delete it, right? 14 terabyte, one 14 terabyte mechanical drive is there housing all of my TV show content, because this is currently my Plex server. The second 14 terabyte mechanical drive is housing all of my movie content, my 4K rips, my 1080p rips. So 28 terabytes total of video content makes it so that my entire house, all the OLEDs you've seen me put on my channel, the ones you haven't seen that I've not shared on the channel, all of those I stream from this PC on a wired connection. If I'm away, I have an iPhone. I have a business and a personal iPhone I use. I don't watch Netflix. I use this PC right here to stream my content. I've showed it on my page before, so scroll through the catalog and you'll be able to see this. RTX 3080 Ti. 3080 Ti, we just recently put that on the channel not long ago, put a card up there showing you that I was excited I was able to get this. I'm gonna show you guys what happened to the build that it went in. You're gonna flip when you see it. That's why we got the room under construction. So I got something more powerful than this 3080 Ti. You already know what it is. What is stronger than the 30 Ti? You know. So yeah, we got full guts in this thing. So in a minute, we're gonna phase forward and get right to showing you what a setup looks like. All right, so let me get this thing closed up. And then I'll go ahead and we'll take a look at where I have this set up. If you haven't seen the first video unboxing this, reviewing this. So let's talk about the weight, right? We got some heavy components in here. This thing is about 25 pounds, so about 25 pounds there. Let's go get it into the room. Okay, so we're actually gonna kill two birds with one stone, right? So this video is coming into exist because of one subscriber. I had another subscriber in one of my videos showing my LG C1, the 77-inch version, asked me about the receiver and the speakers, okay? And here we are again, reviewing this case, showing you it's about the same size as my receiver. This receiver is manufactured by Sony. It's the STR DN1080 model, okay? Love this receiver, great. I'm not the biggest audiophile, but we do have some more content probably in the summertime. We'll be changing things up when we get into some speaker reviews, not like globally reviewing speakers, but at least for my upgrade. Also, subscriber was asking me about the speakers that I use. These are Sony core line speakers, okay? The core lines are the towers, the center, the bookshelves also. So we got that. Also, I have the Atmos speakers that complement the bookshelves, or that complement either the bookshelves or the towers. So however you want to play that. I also have one subwoofer. It's a 10-inch subwoofer. So this is all core line audio. In a room this big, sounds amazing for me. Ceilings are about 9 feet, 9.5 maybe. So yeah, that's pretty good. Had another subscriber. We were talking today. I appreciate you. I believe you're a new sub. I don't know your name. I can't think of it right now, so I apologize. But we were having some great dialogue about his concerns about how far he needs to sit with his TV before he'll feel it's too big. You know, playing on these TVs, fantastic. I don't feel like field of view is going to be an issue for most people. Not the same as if you were playing on a super wide or an ultra wide. If you want to take a look at a super wide, I got a card right there. We got the Samsung 49-inch super wide in my household. Great monitor, but you will have to relearn how to play games on that monitor. My opinion on how far a TV that's 77-inch should be, we're about 2.5, 3 feet, would you say? Yeah, about 3 feet up. I think that's good if you're sitting at it. As I said in the comment, I think ideally you want to try to look face to face with the actors or actresses the best way you can. This, in my opinion, the range of my sweet spot is too far for a 65-inch. I would be unhappy if this TV was in 65-inch capacity, which is why this was the first time last year in 2021 when I bought this TV on its release week is the first time I didn't buy one of these in a 65-inch. Every other iteration was 65-inch, but got this in 77. So a little bit of talking time in this video just to encompass some of the things that I discussed with new subscribers. So as I said earlier in this video, I appreciate when you guys leave comments. Your comments lead to extra content, so it works that way. So here we are looking at this guy, and just if you can angle the camera downward, come at this, you can just gauge the width. So when I reference this and say it is like a receiver, it literally is the size of my Sony receiver model I just told you, right? So the orientation, this will go right here. Now, what I'll do for a little bit of extra airflow is I will have for this case a couple of fans, a couple of external 120 millimeter fans. When I say couple, I mean 2 to be specific. They will plug up USB, my surge protector that I have behind the TV stand, which I'm not going to show because I'm not moving all that out, has USB-A ports on it. You plug it up, you can hit a switch. What that does is it forces air. It forces air into the case. Keeping in mind, I showed you earlier, the side has 2 intake areas, right? So that's taking in air. So you have air being forced in there to intake to keep things cool. You have to be thoughtful and conscious when you're building something like this, a home theater style PC, something in a receiver box, especially when you put in anything NVIDIA RTX. Everything since the 2000 series has been hot as hell. These cards run hot, and especially when you're doing things like playing in 4K. 4K, 60 frames per second, max settings are my goal whenever I'm playing games here. So I did have a full massive 3090 build here. I got videos where I show that I'm not going to card it in, but this thing is going to give me an attractive solution into my my living room. Be right back. All right, so real quick, man, old man, get down here. So we got a couple of cables that are important. I've got this Ethernet cable. This is extra talking time, man, just kind of kicking it with you guys, show you what my setup's like. This Ethernet cable is running from my main router, which I did have another person that asked me some questions on another video about what type of network connections and stuff like that I use. That'll be some more content for another day. So this is running from the main situation to get me directly in here. Keeping in mind, I need to have a stable internet connection for this because I don't have Netflix, I don't have Hulu, I don't have Comcast for TV. I have Comcast Xfinity for internet, but this is my source for my streaming content, right? So I've got Ethernet for that. I've got a USB cable right here. I have a hub right here, right? So my wireless mouse and keyboard, I have all connected here. My Xbox wireless dongle, I have connected there. If I'm going to play a game and I want to use a controller wired or an arcade stick, I'm going to plug them here. The reasoning is because this is glass. So again, I have forced air created in here, so I'm not worried about ventilation. That's why you have to have manual fans if you're going to use this in an application like this. There's a lot of heat in there, and you want to make sure you're taking care of your components. So the forced air is going to be coming from the side, giving air into there, right? But I'm also not going to be worried about whether or not my USB 2.4 gigahertz keyboard mouse, if they're not going to be able to connect, because this is glass. It's a nightmare trying to have dongles plugged into the back of the motherboard. There's just no way that you're going to get a stable connection. So being thoughtful running a hub has helped me a lot tremendously, and it makes things look clean. I got this center two-sided taped onto my center speaker. Center's above my receiver. So I think I got a clean setup, man. I really do. HDMI and then power. So those are the 4 cables that are going to get connected to this thing. So I'll get this all plugged in and get it in here. All right, and there she is. Now, I did remove the glass. So you can see on this side, it does have a glass panel. I took the glass panel out of this side and just kind of slid it under the TV stand. So that's the unit closed and that's the unit open. So again, important to have those fans, that forced air coming from the side, so that you can put yourself in a position to keep this thing well ventilated. Another thing I do love about this case is that, you know, when you build in something like this, it's modular. I have the C9 65-inch OLED in the other room, and I actually have a place for this. So I have a dedicated HDMI cable and an AC power cable ran into that room, so that I can just unplug this and just put that there. Now, this is something that's going to be idle. This computer is never really going to turn off. So because it's running my Plex, I do all my major downloads on this thing, hit power, and it's on. So I'll get this connected and we'll show it to you. All right, I'm actually going to wrap this video up here. I've got some things being transferred over to this case. Sleeping cat there, but yeah. I actually want to make more content about the front ends that I use. I put a video out before on the channel in regards to me using a front end. It makes it very helpful, especially for those who are looking for that console-like feel, when they just want to turn the computer on, pick up a controller and play. That's one of the things that still separates the consoles from PC gaming. Obviously, the aesthetics also. Most computer desktops that house a lot of graphics cards and, you know, heavy processor and optimal cooling are going to need a big case, which is not going to be able to fit in your traditional form factor. But for anybody that was interested in what it would look like and what it performs like to have a case that is going to, you know, have more of an aesthetic that fits in your home theater area, your cabinet, this is for you. As I said, I posted the in-depth review prior, about 5-6 months ago on the channel, but here you are again at a revisit. This has full parts, just to be clear, i9-9900K, full Asus Z390 Strix motherboard, low profile Noctua cooler, 16 gigs of RAM of PNY memory running at 3200 megahertz. We got an RTX 3080 Ti, EVGA full PSU 600 watt power supply. We've got several hard drives in there, 4 to be specific, 2 SATA, and we've got 2 mechanicals, total of 28 terabytes of mechanical storage that houses my Plex, so it runs nonstop. And we've got 256 gig solid state for the boot. We've got a 1 terabyte solid state Samsung for the operating system, or not the operating system, sorry, but for me to have my PC games, Sifu, Elden Ring, those type of titles, which, by the way, link to the gaming channel. I posted some content last week. We're going to get more going, but this thing is sweet. Last thing I would recommend, if you have it in an enclosure like this, TV stand like this, get you some external fans, get you a couple that can be USB powered, that have nothing to do with the case. Plug them to a separate power source and allow this thing to get the proper ventilation. It also doesn't hurt to open it up if you're in a closed scenario, right? But if you guys got any questions, leave them in the comments. Comment section is exactly why this video was made. I got plenty of more content to come, so be subscribed, be notified. And as I always say, max love.